I'm curious about everything. I used to always tell my students the best teacher for you as a composer is not me, it's your own curiosity. I'm Bill Hill, and I'm the principal timpanist and often composer for the Colorado Symphony. And I'm the music director also for the Evergreen Chamber Orchestra. My jazz fusion group is going to play for the first time in about 3 years. Play some pretty intense avant-garde jazz. I would do that all the time if I didn't have this day job that you share with me.
You
150,
know,
160 concerts a year with that takes a bit of
yeah,
our time.
it's quite a schedule, but I believe that you've been working on this on this piece for the Colorado Symphony and the Colorado Symphony Chorus for quite a long time. When did you start writing it?
They asked me, they actually commissioned me to write the piece, I guess probably in May of last year. And I was in the middle of a couple other projects right then. So I guess probably late summer, I started working on the text. Probably worked about a month and a half on the text and then wrote. I I don't mean to sound like it's easy for me, but I wrote I probably composed the actual piece. Once I had the text done, I composed the music in about a month and a half. I try to create a nice flow for the music, whether I'm writing a 45-minute piece or a 12, 13-minute piece. The the architecture is so important. You can't write a good piece unless you have pretty good ideas, but you can ruin good ideas with bad architecture. So I spent a lot of time working on the text, and this particular text has influences from 900 years ago. Hildegard von Bingen, one of the. I mean, I'm astounded by her always. Every time I read her work, one of the great intellects of the late medieval period. And then there's some Shakespeare, and there's a bit of it's all about it's about how we have sort of failed as humanity. It starts with a Dies Irae, Judgment Day, but then it goes into much more uplifting words. It uses a lot of beautiful Hildegard quotes. One of my favorites is one of the first ones of hers that I use. It says, "Lift up your eyes to the sun, the moon, and the stars. Walk with the green earth. All of nature is for us to enjoy and to be in sync with its ebb and flow." What just perfect words. And, to think she wrote that 900 years ago and it's still so relevant today. There's a Shakespeare quote that I use. There are actually a few, but the one that probably is most important to the piece is right at the end, after the Dies Irae that starts so brutally. Then there's actually another thing from the Requiem Mass. There's a Lacrimosa, which of course just means tears, weeping. And I use a little of my own words. It starts, "The earth weeps bitter tears for the abuse of nature's gifts." But then it sort of turns the corner in the end. It's right before the orchestra sings a very quiet Alleluia. And the last thing is the Shakespeare quote, "Mercy benefits the giver and the receiver in equal measure, just as a gentle rain embraces the earth."
I think that it's so interesting to me that you chose the sort of the framework of the Requiem Mass, at least in a general kind of way. Um, Do you want to speak to that a little bit? What was the initial idea about that?
Um, it just seemed to fit all the ideas that I wanted to put together. Um, it I'm not Catholic. Hildegard, of course, was a nun, and her writing is just so beautiful to me, and spectacularly thoughtful, and as I said earlier, so relevant 900 years later. I think I probably the first ideas of the piece, the text, was to look a lot at Hildegard's work, and then see, and I did have the idea of the Dies Irae. I had not been commissioned to do this work at the time, but I was very affected by the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and I just thought, this is crazy, and why? Nothing is going to be accomplished here except death and destruction. I use only one other thing from the Requiem Mass, and that's the end of the piece, and it's the chorus alone with no orchestra, and it's Dona nobis pacem,
Mm,
grant us peace. You know.
yes. One of the things that I think was so interesting to me about considering your piece is that it's sort of a requiem and it's sort of not a requiem, and it got me thinking about how um, the requiem mass is something that we definitely associate with that religious context, especially Catholic, right?
Right.
But it has become in the classical world, it has become in itself an artistic form, right? An artwork, and we have your brand new. Would you call it a requiem mass, or what would you call this work?
Um, I'm not sure how I would categorize it. I think the title sort of says a lot about the piece. That to me, obviously the literal translation of Renaissance is rebirth. But to me, I guess the piece is about a rebirth of philosophy and concepts and ideas of what part we all play in the earth and the world. I don't want to. I'm not trying to sound grandiose or anything. It's just things that I think about, and I think little efforts from all of us individually are what make the difference in the world.
I'm very excited to begin working on it. I know that by the time people are watching this video, we will have already been rehearsing it. So but recording it before even a first rehearsal, I'm extra excited now to really kind of delve into it. Just knowing to listen for things that are supporting your ideas of our commonalities being stronger than our differences. Um,
Yes, that's
I and I
very well put.
really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me, Bill. But I wanted to, just because you love Hildegard von Bingen so much, she lived 900 years ago, right? But her work, her musical works, her written words, her philosophical writings, her legacy continues to this day, even as you said, Shakespeare's, and now yours. You're laying the groundwork for this beautiful kind of thread that we all participate in when we engage with the arts, either as interpreters, creators, or observers. And so I really love getting an opportunity to chat with you about this, Bill. Thank you so much.
Catherine, thank you so much. This has been wonderful just chatting with you about the music, and you obviously did a lot of homework. And, it's anyway, thank you for
I better do homework or practice, one or the other, you know? All right.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Bill.
Bye bye.
Anytime you need filler, just write a viola concerto. No
Yeah,
problem.
why not?